What's so special at WagerTalk that only happens twice per year? It's the WagerTalk $199 30-day all-access special. Why is this $199 special even bigger? This $199 special starts Sunday, August 15th throughout Monday, September 13th, but by signing up now, you'll receive every play through Sunday, August 15th as a free bonus. Does this $199 package include football? Yes, of course it does. As with every all-access package, you receive every play that your favorite capper releases. That includes the NFL preseason, college football through week 2, NFL week 1, MLB action, plus any CFL, KBO, soccer, UFC, or golf that your favorite handicapper releases. Every play, every sport, all for 30 days and all for just $199. If you have never tried a 30-day all-access package at under $7 per day, including football, what are you waiting for?
All right, guys, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Time for another edition of the Pony Pundits, powered by WagerTalk.com, as we get ready for a huge weekend at the tracks, really, at Del Mar. A couple of winning your in opportunities for some huge money in the Breeders' Cup qualifying coming up, and who better to help you navigate through these cards than our good friends here, Marco D'Angelo, Pony Pundit #1, and filling in for Sig, who nobody wanted to bail him out. So the weekend he sits and rots. Sean Alvarez joining us, the go-to guy. What a pinch hitter, Sean! It's always a pleasure to see you again, my friend. Thank you so much for hanging with us here. But Marco, it's a big weekend in racing. A lot of these winning your in opportunities for the Breeders' Cup coming up a little bit later this year.
Yeah, this is a big race. It's Del Mar's signature race. Obviously, this year the signature race will be later whenever they come back for the fall meet, and it'll be capped off with the Breeders' Cup Friday and Saturday there at Del Mar. But you know what? I had to kick Sig to the rocks this week. I said, I got it. It's the Pacific Classic, $1 million race. And we've got one of the owners of one of the horses in the race. Sig, you're out, buddy. We got to bring in the man. And that man is Sean Alvarez. And I can't wait to hear how excited this guy is, Joe. And you can talk to him about a little group called My Racehorse.
Yeah, talk to us about that, Sean. It's always good to see you here, man, especially usually when Marco's not here. It's usually a pleasure to see you. But no, hey, listen, you're here with Marco. We apologize for that. But talk to us, my man. What have you been up to, and what is Marco talking about? What do we got going on at Del Mar this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, not only do we get that $1 million purse, the winning you're in for the Breeders' Cup. It's going to be a great race. We got Todd Pletcher shipping in from the East Coast. We don't always get East Coast shippers, but first and foremost for me, just a little bit of a nostalgic is back in 2019, I jumped in with the My Racehorse group syndicate of, they sold 600 shares. So I'd roughly say about 500 owners, give or take, with people kind of doubling up and tripling up on shares. It was roughly about $300. And we get a very, micro share ownership of Tizamagician. But, in that budget of $300, and we're never going to ask you for another bill, to have a horse running in the Pacific Classic, a grade 1, winning you're in for the Breeders' Cup, $1 million race. I mean, as we're talking about it, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Being able to root and scream for Tiz and Flavian, hopefully coming down the stretch with a shot at crossing the wire first and seeing our horse run on that Saturday in November as well.
Tough to get into was the process of investing and then getting a share of these horses. Was it a difficult process, Sean, or is it something you would possibly recommend for those that are interested?
No, it was a super easy process, very quick and simple. Buying shares of it online. You're not an owner of the horse. You don't have to go through getting your owner's license in the different states that we have to run. Technically, it's a micro share of the company in the horse that they're running. So that's kind of where they're getting away with, people not having to be qualified, going through the ownership credentials and whatnot. But very quick and easy. Sign up, put in your information, and very very shortly thereafter you're getting a certificate of ownership in the horse. And weekly, if not even more than weekly, updates of how the horse is doing, videos of how the horses are running. If you're looking to get into horse racing ownership, it's very cut and dry. There's no backdoor bills to pay later. They let you know everything up front, and it's a group of fun, like-minded people. Even the days at the track, seeing people in and out of the paddock and cheering on your horse. Everybody has the same goal in mind. We're there. We all love our horses. We want the best for them, and we want to see them cross the finish line first. All fingers crossed in the long run.
And I just want to say, Sean, it is a pleasure having a legitimate horse owner on the panel here today. One final question, if I can, Sean, here, and this will tell us a lot here. But say you owned a horse or had owner, and that said horse was going to run, I don't know, let's say Saturday. Would you happen to let other people know that your horse is running on Saturday? Would you let people know?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely. Good. So, no.
Very good.
We're going to get there, though. We're going to get there.
No problem. Marco, how are you? Isn't it good to have a legitimate horse owner on the show for once? Isn't it great, my friend? How are you, Marco?
Yeah. Yeah. Sean, that was the dig from last week. If you missed the show last week, that I didn't bet my horse either. My jockey picked off my horse, and that's a great handicapping angle when jockeys have choices and they decide between two. And I didn't bet my horse, and my horse come back and paid $29 to win. Well, the reason he paid $29 to win is because none of my money was there. So these guys were giving me a lot of grief because I didn't tell them. But, I didn't do a show with you yesterday, Joe, and he ran again, she ran again yesterday, finished third. I made more money with her running third than I did when she won because I hit the try and everything. But it was just one of those things. It happens. What can I say?
Yeah. Oh, it happens a lot with you, Marco. I never met a guy that wins so many races with his own horses. Don't tell anybody. But, Sean, it is a pleasure to see you here, my friend. It does pain me also to let folks know right now, before we dive in here to the Pacific Classic, that maybe nobody more profitable and hotter right now since the All-Star break than Marco in the MLB. And obviously, as those games continue full card all throughout the weekend, it's a great day at the track over the weekend and on the diamond. And Marco is your man, guys. There's no reason for you not to get excluded on his own horses like we are. No, I'm only kidding. 3 days, all sports. You'll find out. If the problem is Sean and I won't find out, but you'll know for $69 exactly what Marco's got going here this weekend. 3 days, all access, all sports right now. Head over to WagerTalk.com and visit Marco's page. All right, guys, let's dive into this because I love these races here tomorrow. And I love the TVG Pacific Classic. We're talking big money here. Grade 1, guys. Now, it doesn't necessarily have the star appeal of what we've seen in recent editions, but that automatic entry to that $6 million Breeders' Cup Classic November 6th at Del Mar, in fact, that's Sean's already getting hives thinking about that possibility that he'll be back on the show here. So let's run through the entries. Race 10 here, guys. Let's take a look at it. We'll start with you, Marco. We'll look at number 1 here, and in Tripoli with a morning line, I believe 5-1. Yep, 5-1 morning line here on Tripoli. Tell me what you think here. What's going on with this number 1 horse?
Well, this is a horse that definitely has a chance to hit the ticket. And to be honest with you, Joe, the 9-horse field, I can legitimately make a case for 6 of the 9 to win this race. I think this is one of the best betting races of the season because the money's going to be going in all different directions. I don't think we're going to see a heavy favorite at post time. The money's going to be easily distributed. What I'm looking at here with Tripoli is he's only had 1 graded stakes race, but that was a game second place finish last time out. 2 Express Train, closed to finish second. This was a race where since Piero take over the driving duties, he's got 2 wins and a second in 3 starts. So definitely this jock gets along with the horse. And the only problem with it is, although he gets along with this horse, he hasn't been getting along with any other horses. If you look at his last 46 rides, he's got just one win. And that's a little bit of a problem for me here. This is the toughest race the horse has been in. He'll sit from off the pace and close. He did have a bang-up close last time, but I don't know that he'll be able to reach here. This is one where I'm probably looking to use under the tickets, third or fourth on the tries and supers.
All right. Well, there we go. That's number 1, Tripoli. And Sean, we'll go to you for this. I don't even know how you pronounce this, Nays. What is this? What kind of horse is this? Number 2, Tizamagician. Sean, talk to us here. 5-1, Flavian Pratt. What do you know about this horse?
Tizamagician, I know a few, a couple things here. Coming out of the My Racehorse stable that we spoke about earlier. It's no surprise that this horse, to a lot of us handicapping, has gained his footing at the marathon distance. Really likes that 1.5 miles. Now the shocking, everybody else is stretching out. Tizamagician is actually cutting back in distance. He hasn't done his best running at 1.25 miles. But I really like what he did in the Grade 2 Brooklyn. He ran a huge race to Lone Rock, which a lot of handicappers were fading Lone Rock and Tizamagician in their next starts, figuring they would both bounce out of that. They both ran huge races. Both of them come back and validated that win with another win. The last time out, the race was all set up his own way. He did what he was supposed to do, but he finished well under, very minimal urging. And from what we're hearing out of Richard Mandela, that he hasn't been working. He's never worked better. And from an interview that he said that he would be doing a disservice to Tiz if we skip the Pacific Classic and went into something like a marathon distance. You get a rider like Flavian Pratt, like Marco alluded to. There's a lot of horses that you can either make an excuse for last time out. You can think that they're going to do better this time out. There's a lot of different ways to play it. It's going to be somewhat more of a jockey race up front. And in my opinion, Flavian Pratt's the best at those type of races. And there's nobody that I'd want in my corner more than Flavian and Richard Mandela trying to do something for the first time and win this Grade 1 at 10 panels.
All right. Well, that leaves us with number 3 here, Marco. Dr. Post, Joel Rosario, Todd Pletcher, East Coast to West Coast here. 4-1 morning line. Give me your thoughts on Dr. Post.
I like Dr. Post a lot in this race, and you hit it right on the head with why I like this horse. They're shipping out west. Joel Rosario's making the trip to ride this horse. That's a big statement. If you remember, one of the 8-year-old horse last year that was on the Derby Trail, raced against some of the top horses in the country. What I like about this horse is the way they set this horse up for this race. He didn't make his 2021 debut until May after a 7-month layoff. He had a tough 3-year-old campaign, but they gave the horse the time he needed to get freshened up. And to me, if you look at the spacing of the races, this will be his 4th start of the season. They were pointing for 2 things: the Pacific Classic and to come back in November and race in the Breeders' Cup somewhere on the card. And I like Todd Pletcher. Obviously he's one of the top trainers on the East Coast year in and year out. And as Sean mentioned about Flavian Pratt, I love Flavian Pratt. He's one of the best jockeys on the West Coast, if not on the entire country. And I could say the same with Joel Rosario. In the fact that he's making the trip, I'm not overlooking that. Dr. Post, I think, will sit off the leaders, let them battle up front, and then he will make his move in the stretch. And I think this distance suits him well, and I look for him to be the horse to beat. And 4-1, I think, is a gift on Dr. Post.
All right, well, that leads us into, looks like the morning line favorite here in Royal Ship, 7-2. Mike Smith aboard Richard Mandela. And Sean, I don't know, what do you know about Richard? I think he's got another horse in this race. I'm not sure, but what do you think here of Royal Ship?
Yeah, we're looking for a little Richard Mandela 1-2 exacta, specifically 2-4. One of the other things, I kind of alluded to with Tiz and how well he's working. You look at the last work and the work 2 back. 47-4. That's just not a normal Mandela work. The horse just looks, to me, looks like in the morning, like he's kicking his stall down. He wants to run. This is the one horse out of that San Diego handicap that I really am looking forward to play. I think that we're going to get a little bit more of a price odds. You're looking at that second choice, 7-2. Express Train, I think, is going to take a little bit of money coming off that win. I know Todd Pletcher is going to take a little bit of money, as Marco hit some great points on Dr. Post. But if you watch that replay and that San Diego handicap coming back, Mike Smith was just loaded on Royal Ship and had nowhere to go. Tried to come out twice, just got shut off both times. Finally saw a seam at the inside, and it looked like he was going to go through with no competition. And it looked like he just hesitated a little bit. Some horses just do not like passing on the rail. You got these 1,200-pound animals going 30 to 40 miles an hour. I could see why they wouldn't want to pass in the tight position. I think if with that similar trip, maybe be able to swing out a little bit wide. I actually think the 4 Royal Ship we're going to see a little bit more of a 4-to-1 line, and could be the value to either round out or come up and sneak up on some of our top picks.
All right, moving on. Number 5 here in the Pacific Classic at Del Mar tomorrow, Marco. Express Train. Talk about consistency. I believe, what is that, 5 graded stakes races this year, has not missed the board. So if nothing else, pretty darn consistent at 3-1.
Absolutely. And he's got one of the hottest young jocks. Juan Hernandez has been lighting things up, doing well at when he was at Santa Anita, and also now carried it over to Del Mar. In fact, he's winning over the last 30 days at a 20% clip. And, and he's not the first name that's getting named on horses. So a lot of times he's getting the second or third choice horses in a field, and to win at that rate is exceptional. I look at the last race, and he got the win. If you go back and watch that race, he pressed the early pace throughout. He sat just second on the outside, and they went good fractions in that race. And he held off, put away the horse on the front end, and then held off late charges from both Royal Ship and Tripoli, 2 horses that are in this field. He is, on paper, the horse to beat, and why he's 3-1. However, I just think that there's going to be enough speed up front that's going to soften things up for one of the horses coming just off the pace. And I think that horse, as I said earlier, Dr. Post, is going to be there. But I have Express Train right there, second in my numbers. I do like Express Train and Juan Hernandez. This is a horse you've got to use on your ticket. Very game horse, week in and week out. And since Hernandez has jumped aboard this horse, 6 for 6 in the money with this horse. He gets along with him fine.
Yeah, I believe, what is he, second in wins and earnings for the summer meet so far there, that Hernandez. So certainly has seen some success. Number 6 here, Sean, we'll come back to you. A Magic on Tap, obviously 20-1. This is usually a horse Marco would break down, but 20-1, it is all yours, my friend. Can we even say the 2 words Bob Baffert? Are we allowed to?
I mean, how excited, 2-3 years ago would you be to bet a grade 1 in the Pacific Classic 20-1 with Bob Baffert? I mean, this would just be fire away. I don't care what the form looks like, but I don't quite understand what this horse is doing in this type of race. It's a model of consistency in the morning, just basically 59 flat at, just rattles them off every morning. Not the most consistent horse in the afternoon. Little, the typical tap, it's a little bit hard to handle running. I actually think this horse is interesting, but not from a betting perspective. You look at that grade 1 or grade 2 triple bend, ran a great race, made that little middle move, going 7 furlongs. Now we're going another 3 furlongs. You would think this horse is bred for it out of tap it, but it just doesn't seem like he has that kind of distance to get that done. So where I think this horse is interesting is I could see Abel Cedillo making some kind of middle move. Hey, they're not going quick enough up front. My horse is, too headstrong. I don't want to hold him back. And I can really see him start to force the hands of maybe a Dr. Post to move too early, maybe an Independence Hall who should be sitting off to the outside. I can see that kind of middle move, because what else is this horse going to do? And maybe force the hand of some jockeys and either help them or maybe hurt some other jockeys' plans in the race. But I don't see the horse winning or hitting the board, but I can see the horse doing a little, doing some weird stuff early.
All right, there you go, Magic Tap. We'll move on to number 7, Independence Hall here, Marco. 5-1 morning line. Florentino, Michael McCarthy training this horse. Give me your thoughts.
Well, Joe, if you remember all the shows we did on the Kentucky Derby Trail, this was a horse that was a thorn in my side because every time I thought he was going to run big, well, he didn't. And every time I didn't use him, well, he ran big and ran over my tickets. Definite love-hate relationship with this horse. This is asking a lot. First of all, does the horse have the talent to go with these horses? Yes, he does. Distance-wise, we'll see if this suits him or not. I'm not sure what the right distance is for this horse because he's too inconsistent. He's had good races and bad races, it seems, at every distance. What my bigger concern is, this is going to be the horse's first start since April. And I know, the works look good in the morning, but it's still not the same when you've got to go into a race of this stature with the field that is assembled for the Pacific Classic. I don't know that you can get enough out of the morning works to be ready to go in a race like this. I think he's going to need another start. Just because I don't want to see him run me over, I'll probably have him on the bottom end of a try somewhere, just in case if he comes close in and hits third. I don't want to be tearing a ticket up because Independence Hall's not on it, but he's not a major player in my opinion in this race.
All right, moving on to number 8, Sheriff Brown. Wow, nice enough to give you two bit of a long shots here, Sean. 30-1, a long way away from Delta Downs, Sam Houston Park, and Lone Star Park. I think it's maybe a different class of horses he's going to be racing against here. What do you think about Sheriff Brown?
Yeah, I get to talk about Tizamagician, but I have to pay for it by talking about Magic on Tap and Sheriff Brown. I mean, I truthfully, I don't know what this horse is doing in this race, even more so than Magic on Tap. Like you said, the 3 wins this year come from Delta Downs, Sam Houston, and Lone Star Park. We're a little bit out of that type of races where the surf meets the turf down here at Del Mar. So not sure what he's doing, but with what Marco was saying, with the pace being up front, with the good horses trying to want to lay a little bit closer, I can see a little bit hot of a pace. And while I don't think that he's going to be nearly as good enough, no matter how tired the horses are coming down the lane, if Edwin can just get him to settle back and make one run, I just think that's his best route to maybe clunk up for 3rd or 4th. I think 3rd might even be outside of the realm, but to clunk up for a superfecta and spice it up a little bit, I could see that. Outside of that, I mean, maybe we're gearing up for a big Sam Houston run at their next meet. This is a launch pad to the next one.
All right, well, that moves on to final horse there, number 9 in this race, Cupid's Claw, Marco. Rispoli on top, 15-1 on the morning line. What do you think about this gelding?
Well, first, I just want to go on record, Joe, that anytime if I have a horse racing in $1 million race, you can give me all of the long shots to talk about on the entire race card, and I'll be fine with that. Just give me the horse in the $1 million race. So now that we got that out of the way, I get Cupid's Claws. Now, this one's 15-1, and I know there's some people that actually think this horse is a little bit intriguing. Oldest horse in the race, 6-year-old gelding. Raced a really game effort in his last start to a horse that Sean knows about, Tizamagician. Came up and got to the outside with Tizamagician. In the stretch, though, Tiz pulled away from this horse under pretty much a hand ride. My problem with Cupid's Claws in that particular race, sat just a little bit off the pace, was, racing 3rd or 4th most of that race, right behind the leaders, and then came up to try to make a move, was 2nd best. The rest of the field was far back, and the only knock out of that race is I think that obviously the horse that won the race, Tizamagician, we know how good that horse is. not kissing up to my co-host today.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of that field was a little bit suspect. And so I think Cupid's Claw is getting some love because he finished second in that race. I don't think the competition was as strong as the rest of the horses in this race have faced. Also, if you look, he likes to be near the pace, just off of it, but near the pace. He's going to have to use them out of the gate because he's got the outside post, which if you are going to go to the front, you want to leave from the outside, but there are some horses inside of him that got a lot of speed, and he could get caught in the turn and lose valuable ground. If you're really racing a little bit over your head, you don't want to be giving up extra ground in the race, and I think that's going to be the problem for Cupid's Claws here. I passed on him, but I do know some cappers think that this horse is a live long shot in this race.
All right, well, 15-1 certainly qualifies that. There you go, guys. TVG Pacific Classic tomorrow, race 10 at Del Mar. Those are your entries. We'll take a look at both Marco and Sean's cards here in just a second. But a quick reminder, if you head over to WagerTalk.com right now, Marco has an all-access pass, 3 days, $69, every play, every sport this weekend, including his cards at the tracks here on race day. All you have to do is head over to WagerTalk.com and visit Marco's page. And don't forget, of course, Sig as well. Always has his daily racing reports up by 9 a.m. You can grab those exclusively at wt.buzz/Sig. All right, Sean, we're going to go to you because you've got a vested interest in here. Want to go to the horse owner first and give him first shot here. So tell us what your card looks like here in this race, Sean.
Yeah, so I mean, needless to say, I started with the number 2, Tizamagician, on top of 5-1. I understand that he's going to need to step up a little bit, especially in figures, to compete with the likes of Dr. Post and Royal Ship. But I really like the way that this horse's game. He when he gets headed, he doesn't like to let other horses by. I don't see a specific front-running type of horse. If Express Train wants to go, I think Flavian sits off, won't have a problem putting down a one away. And we'll just have to hold off the other two. And the other two that I'm referring to is that Dr. Post that Marco alluded to. The horse was parked out in the parking lot coming home at Monmouth and put away good horses. Is shipping out for a reason. Todd Pletcher doesn't just ship out to Del Mar, doesn't do it very often. I think the horse is doing well and obviously pointed for the Classic in November. And then number 4, Royal Ship. I just think this horse is, he was loaded. I don't think he left it all on the track. He's working out really well. If he could sit that similar trip and get kind of a cleaner trip from Mike and not have to feed the rail, I think that horse is going to be dangerous. And I had to include the number 7. If Marco's going to lose, I'm gonna win on the horse that he's tossing out. If Marco's off, I'm in. But no, I feel the same way. I've been feeling like Independence Hall is going to run a big race here and there. I don't love that Flavian's off, but Florent Drew is more than capable. Michael McCarthy knows what he's doing. We get blinkers on this time. Maybe we see a little bit of a different Independence Hall, and that'll run out my ticket 2, 3, 4, and 7.
All right. 2, 3, 4, and 7. Marco, coming your way, my friend. What do you think? What's your card look like?
Well, I will be rooting for Sean's horse. I want to see him get that thrill of a Pacific Classic, especially for Sean. He's sporting the San Diego Padre hat. Del Mar's right up the road from San Diego. He's the San Diego native. And I know for me in horse racing, my biggest thrill was winning a big stake race at my home track. There's no bigger thrill than that. And it would be a thrill for Sean to get that done. But I really do think the horse to beat is number 3, Dr. Post, as I said and alluded to it. Todd Pletcher, if you look at the way this horse is raced, look at the spacing, look at the time off, they're doing one thing. They were pointing to this race and the Breeders' Cup, and I like that. And Joel Rosario's making the trip out west. And what's more important, you see jockeys stay with horses. That's not uncommon. But it's not like he has ridden this horse his entire career. He just jumped on this horse last time for the first time, and he's making the trip out west. That's a big statement. Second, I've got Express Train, and this is a horse that's been consistent week after week. I like him there. I can't argue with, I didn't get to talk about Royal Ship. That was one of Sean's horses on the breakdown. And what he alluded to about the inside trip and Mike Smith having to wait late, that is true. And the horse just didn't seem to want to go in there. The only thing, and I was ready to use the horse higher, but I went one race back, Sean, and watched the replay of that other race, and he got just the opposite trip. He was on the outside and couldn't get by. Actually had his head in front, and Flavian came back on him. And I've done it a couple times on this show, and I hate to do it, but Mike Smith's been a Hall of Fame rider for years, but I think we're getting to the twilight of that. And when you get into a stretch run like that, that's two races, whether it was inside or outside, the younger jock got the better of him with the ride to the wire. And that's why I have him third. And fourth, I've got Tizamagician. I think he's going to be a part of the Try and Super. I have him there. I'll mix them up. And I really do think that any one of these four horses can win the race. So I'll be doing some boxing in this race with my numbers to get there. The one thing I will say for Tizamagician, yeah, he's cutting back in distance. The works in the morning have been spectacular. If you go back and watch the last race, and this is something I like to look at as well, watch the ride out with Flavian Pratt. It took him around the turn to get him pulled up. This horse went 1.5 miles, and he wanted to keep going. This horse is feeling really good right now, and that is an angle a lot of handicappers do look at, is they watch the horse just past the wire. Were they done? Did they have anything left? I can tell you this horse had a ton left past the wire. So that's a good sign heading into here. And if he doesn't get it done here, Sean, I think that next 1.5 mile race, you'll be getting your picture taken with a bunch of other people for sure.
Yeah, it was nice enough, too. Did you see that, Johnny? With, and eventually he got the Tizamagician, but I think anybody can win it, but just I'm going to put the number 2 fourth on my card. Not a big deal there. No problem. We see how that goes there. Just a reminder, guys, again, this is a big race here. We're talking about the winner of this Pacific Classic gets an all-expenses paid trip back for the Breeders' Cup Classic. Big money opportunity. In fact, Sean, I'll ask you, last horse to win both the Pacific Cup and the Breeders' Cup Classic? 3 years ago.
I have no idea.
It was 3 years ago.
Oh.
Accelerate was the last horse to win both of these. Good trivia question. Marco didn't own Accelerate. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. But if you guys do want to head over to WagerTalk.com, you can grab Marco's 3-day all-access package right now. $69. All plays, all sports, all weekend long. All yours, in fact. Just head over to WagerTalk.com and take advantage. At Smooth Turn 2 is where you should be following Sean all weekend long, because if Tizamagician wins, I can't imagine what his Twitter page is going to look like there, if he'll even remember half of the stuff he's tweeting. So it's certainly worth a follow, guys. Sean, always a pleasure, man. Thanks for stepping in for Sig. Best of luck tomorrow, man. Should be one hell of a race and a good time. And Marco, as always, I'm sure we'll hear about winners you didn't tell anybody about. But until then, next week, Sig will be back, and we'll continue with Pony Pundits here. Brought to you by WagerTalk.com, of course. So on behalf of Marco and Sean, guys, best of luck this weekend with all your plays. Come back and join us again next Friday for another edition of Pony Pundits. We'll talk to you then.
What's so special at WagerTalk that only happens twice per year? It's the WagerTalk $199 30-day all-access special. Why is this $199 special even bigger? This $199 special starts Sunday, August 15th throughout Monday, September 13th. But by signing up now, you'll receive every play through Sunday, August 15th as a free bonus. Does this $199 package include football? Yes, of course it does. As with every all-access package, you receive every play that your favorite capper releases. That includes the NFL preseason, college football through week 2, NFL week 1, MLB action, plus any CFL, KBO, soccer, UFC, or golf that your favorite handicapper releases. Every play, every sport, all for 30 days and all for just $199. If you have never tried a 30-day all-access package at under $7 per day, including football, what are you waiting for?